Got it?
Yes. Got it.
Not quite yet.
Okay.
I
Okay.
believe we are live now. Yes, we are.
Yes.
Good
Okay.
morning, Beena, and good morning,
Yes.
everyone.
Good morning, Syl. Good morning, Green. Good morning, everyone, whoever is
Now,
watching and will be with us, and they are going to watch it later. Thank you so much for being on YouTube also, because we see that people are watching there. And for us, it is just people are becoming part of this journey and process. It's not viewers or watchers, likes or dislikes. It is just people are being here and being part of this process. It's so incredible and so profound for me. And of course, Phil also, because that was intent. And by intent, today's thought. So today's thought about, and today's learning and awareness about intent and materialization of intent. If we are receptive, everything is magic and nothing is magical at the same time. Because it feels like, oh, it is magical, things are happening the way we were intending, the way we were assuming, the way we actually wish for. But when we truly get into the receptive mindset, receptivity, the way of being, then we realize that nothing is magical also.
Yes. But it is, but it isn't.
Yes, it is, but it isn't. Exactly. Yeah. Because everything is magical and at the same time, nothing is magical. And this is the nuance point, what we try to understand, but what I was trying to understand from Syl, because sometimes when I'm getting so excited about something, like, oh yes, I got it. And then he says, yes, you got it, but is this really a profound, unbelievable kind of thing? And I was like, no, not really. He says, this is the magic. This is the real essence of materialization of your intent, that you need to feel comfortable what you are intending with. Otherwise, if we are not comfortable, if we are assuming it's bigger, it's extraordinary, it is unbelievable, by implication, we are admitting, acknowledging, and accepting, and saying and stating that we don't deserve this. This is not our normal. I don't deserve this, which means that it can happen once in a blue moon. But if we really, truly want to live in the quote unquote magical world, we need to be comfortable. No overwhelm, nothing. And I personally feel that we can only be truly comfortable with the materialization of any intent when our conscience is clear, when we have no bad intent, when we have any contradictory intent, when our intent is not in contradiction with the universe's bigger intent. Only then we can have this comfort, this happy. And this is the proof of, for me, to understand that we are going with the flow. We are with the flow, and flow is with us. Attunement. In Syl's vocabulary, this is what he called attunement. And when we want to be in that completely attuned with the universe, our conscience needs to be clear, absolutely comfortable, and at peace. Where there's no push, there's no stress, there's no friction, there's no bad intent, which gives you some sort of regrets or stress. Nothing. When you just purely enjoy that without having any kind of obligation, without having any kind of stress, then it's magic. And at the same time, it isn't. So that was the thought, because I learned this and I practice this every single day, every single moment. And for me, I still feel that I am Alice in the Wonderland. I know that, okay, this phrase Alice in the Wonderland is something they have some implications, but just to make it clear and obvious for everyone, I haven't read that book. I haven't watched that movie. Just quotes, and they are enough for me. And this is how it is. I think that, okay, all my friends are aware of it, that to get the value, I don't need to read the whole book or watch the movie or just read that. For
the
me,
concept is
getting,
enough. The concept. Yeah.
yes, and the concept, and just sometimes just one single tiny little quote can transform your life and yourself. And this is what happens with me. And I feel no stress to actually watch the movie or read the book, because I'm still getting value from that quote, because this is what I am perceiving from that quote. Not necessarily the person who was saying the same intent or the same value they might be intending to share. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect. Well, it doesn't make any difference at all. What I am perceiving, how I am getting value, what value I'm getting, this is what important. This is what actually valuable for me. And I'm still getting value from this. So the world around me and inside me is so magical. Every single day, it is so magical. I really get fascinated by, like, wow, again, and it is happening. It is happening.
Brilliant.
So thankful for the universe. And I'm so thankful for the people around me. They are getting value every single moment.
Yes.
So,
yes. Now I want to. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, okay, that was my thought of the day.
Yeah, well, it's a good one, because we want to continue on this, right? So to summarize your thought on the day, to do a repeat back, you're saying that intent, I'm a little unclear actually. So can you repeat it actually? Right? Intent has to be clear for one.
Yes. Yes.
And what else? You said our conscience has to be clear.
Yes, because our conscience can only be clear when our intent are not contradictory with other people's intent.
There you go. There you go. So clarity
I cannot just intend. Yes, I cannot intend that. Okay, I need to have all the good things in my in the universe just for myself. That is something, of course, you cannot just do this. Your conscience will not be clear. You cannot snatch.
So on this. Yeah, on this point, Beena, of clarity of intent, which, as you know, Module 1, Session 1 of Way-of-Impeccability is called clarity of intent, right?
Yes.
And there's, I'm not going to go into all of the other reasons why it's so potent. It leverages your psychology, it's a whole bunch of stuff. It leverages the associative mechanism, it leverages the filtering, it leverages the emphasis, all sorts of that stuff. However, I want to focus on this one aspect of clarity of intent. It's one aspect. There are many, and like I said, that's the whole module is on this, but we won't go into all of them. I just want to focus on this one aspect, which is lack of contrary intent. Now, having a clear conscience means a lot of things, yes? Mostly when we talk about having a clear conscience, we think, well, you know, I do something wrong, something bad, yes? And then, you know, all right, you either make up for it or you get punished for it. And then after that, okay, now your conscience is clear again because you paid the price for it, all right? Or there can be a different way of doing that, which is to change, yes? You can change and be a different person. So what you did in the past that was wrong or bad, that's now resulting in shame and guilt and a conscience that isn't clear, then, well, that applies to a different person. I'm no longer that person and I cannot be that person, so it doesn't apply to me, right? This is the most profound way to deal with that. But I want to go into, I'm just elaborating the greater field. I want to go really particular into a fine point, yes?
Yes.
Actually, sorry, my computer rebooted, so I'm on the phone here. But I want to bring up bring up Zoom again so that at least it shows the video. I'll stay on the audio on the phone. Right. So I want to focus on a particular aspect of conscience, and this is, let's put it this way. Let's call it inadvertent and/or/inadvertent unnecessary conscience contradiction. Okay?
Will you please repeat
Now,
this?
I want to focus in on unnecessary or inadvertent conscience contradiction. I'm calling it conscience contradiction because you're going to see where I'm going with this in a moment. Because it's not particularly necessarily having a guilty conscience or having a conscience that's not clear, that's conflicted. Well, it is kind of, but I'll explain in a moment. I'm talking about inadvertent issues of conscience. For instance, I want to focus on a very particular thing. This came up in a conversation with somebody the other day, and it was very particular, right? And that is privilege guilt. Privilege guilt. Yes. Very profound concept that you don't see around very often. Yes. But this is, I'm lucky, for instance, and you were talking about things manifesting, our intents becoming real. And we're having moreness in our lives as a result. Right, Beena?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Now, we know why that moreness has come. It's not only intent, but there's underneath the intent. We're not just intending and it's like, oh, wishful thinking. No, we make an effort. We work. We do what's required of us, right? From the universe's point of view, right? We're doing our part to the maximum, correct? And the intent includes our part and the assistance of the universe,
It's
both
a teamwork.
together, correct?
Yes, it's a teamwork. And when you are asking something,
Exactly.
We need to do that.
Exactly. All right. Now, though, however, sometimes for some people, they get something for nothing, which is a big luck, capital L luck. No, not necessarily capital L luck, but a big luck, right? Just a bonus. If it happens occasionally, people are okay with this. Or let's put it this way, rather happens rarely, they're okay with it. If it happens a little bit more often than rarely, at some point, there's a crossover point where, oh, I'm just lucky, to, oh, I'm undeserving. It's a very big point that I'm making. Yes. At some point, when people have luck and the frequency increases, right? It's no longer just rarely, it's now a bit more, maybe occasionally or often. At some point, when you go from rarely to more often, somewhere in between there, at some point for most people in their minds, they go, oh, I'm lucky. Oh, I don't deserve this. Now, they might not even consciously be aware that they feel undeserving for the good luck, the moreness, the beneficence, the surplus, the extra in their lives. Yes. They might not even be aware of it. But if you pay attention to your language and the things you subscribe to and the things that you say, you're watching a movie and this is to somebody, oh, they don't deserve that. You might not say it about yourself, but you said it to the movie character. Yeah, so, man, they just got so lucky. They don't deserve that. See, so you have in your brain, you have this idea of things being deserved. And the concept of deserved means that you've done something and the result is what you get. Yes. If you've done nothing, well, then you don't deserve it. See? All right. If it happens occasionally, it's luck. And all right, it's a bonus. But regularly or, less than very occasionally, rarely, now it gets into that category of deserve. See? And if you keep on regularly getting things that they're just happening, then you're in your mind, you're going to start believing that I don't deserve this. Now, you may not even consciously be aware of this, right? And this is what I call privilege guilt, because when you're getting things, you're privileged, right? No matter where you are, you might not be in the technical definition of living in privileged society. You might be living in the slum, for instance, but things work out for you. You keep getting lucky, you keep getting bonuses, and this is wonderful. You still got privilege. Right, relatively speaking, right? So this privilege can come in many different ways. You may get lucky in your relationships, for instance, or whatever, right? Or you may get lucky. You may even be a criminal and you just don't get caught, and it's just very lucky. You just, every time you get lucky, you don't get caught. I'm just saying, right? That's a privilege in a way. I'm calling it privilege guilt because it's obviously more often when you do have privilege and you do this, right? Because when people are struggling in a hard time, they're very happy to accept luck. They don't have the same logic to it. But when you've got everything okay and you get more on top of what you need, and when you don't have what you need and you get a bit of luck, it kind of balances out. So this is not really that often mindset in that thing, but it can be also, right? Now what has to happen in order for your brain to be okay with accepting things that you don't deserve? I'm putting deserve in quotation marks, in inverted commas, right? That your brain has said this is an artificial thing. You now need to have something that makes for the deserving. And typically, bad luck. Bad luck is the balance for good luck. Oh, I've had so much bad luck, I deserve some good luck. You'll even hear people say this, right? Have you not heard people say this, Beena?
Yes.
Yeah, man, I deserve some good luck. Why? Oh, because I've had so much bad luck. Yeah. Well, if you get the good luck first in your brain, now you are telling your brain from that statement, your brain has this little program sitting there. Oh, well, they need some bad luck. And next thing you do, you get some bad luck. Where did this bad luck come from? Came from you. When it comes to clarity of intent, we need to also be clear of our inadvertent intents, our unaware intents, our intents by implication, our intents of consequence. This is why we need to pay exquisite attention to what we say. Yes? Saying things like, oh, I deserve a bit of good luck. Don't say it. You've never heard me say this, right, Beena?
Yes, never.
You've never heard me say this. Why? Because if I get that good luck, then at some point I'm going to deserve the bad luck. Because I'm deserving good luck because I've had bad luck, correct? No, nonsense. This is, moreness is not something that is deserved. It might be, you could say, in some ways, but if you simply, it's simply a consequence. It's simply something that goes all together. It's like, I don't deserve to get oxygenated blood when I breathe, do I? Beena? When I breathe, do I get a deserved consequence from breathing? No.
Yes.
You see, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, the universe is predicated on the understanding that you are going to be a sensible, good person. Duh. Why would you want to be anything else? Yeah. It's like breathing. The way physicality is set up, a sensible, good person, you breathe. Duh. Right? If you don't breathe, you're going to have negative consequence. Duh. Moreness is the same way. See? It's premised on a simple, natural consequence of being a sensible, good person. So it's not that you deserve moreness, it just comes with being a sensible, good person. It's just part of the deal. It's like, I get energy and health and oxygen in my blood and all the good things that come from that, from breathing. I don't deserve those because I'm breathing. It just is what breathing does. It is what living does. Being produces moreness, unless you go and do something to disconnect you from the moreness. In other words, if I don't want the good consequences of breathing, I have to stop breathing or breathe really poorly or shallowly or whatever, right? So it's not that the thing we do gets us a result. The result is there. It's like a natural thing to do. Being, living, being sensible, being good. These are all natural. These are all does, right? If you want to have bad stuff in your life, stop doing the breathing. Stop doing natural living. Stop being naturally sensible. Stop being naturally good, right? get involved in ego stuff. Well, okay, you know, now we're getting away from sensibility. Where is ego sensible? Correct. Ego's the biggest fool that we can possibly imagine. See? But I want to make this very, very powerful point here. There's a whole couple of them that are thrown in this discussion here, right? So we're looking at inadvertent intents as one of our key points here, right? Put that in the dictionary of power. Inadvertent intent. Things that you simply assimilated. You could even call them assimilated intents. Add that to your dictionary of power too, right? With a dash. Assimilated, capital A, capital I, dash. Assimilated intent, inadvertent intent, right? And also consequential intent. For instance, if I say, oh, I deserve some good luck, the consequence is that you're going to also deserve bad luck. It's the way the brain tends to work, right? So we have to change the way that brain works. I'll say, no, I have to unhook from this consequence. First of all, I have to unhook from opposite thinking and balance. I have to unhook from this concept of deserve. Yes? If I'm being a fool, I deserve negative consequence. Yes, okay, in that sense, deserve works, but not necessarily in the opposite. So this is a sophisticated thinking technique to simply say, because something is true, it does not necessarily mean that its opposite is also true. We tend to think this. It's part of the mentality of opposites, but it's flawed thinking. Yes, if I behave like an idiot and a nincompoop, then I deserve nonsense to come in my life, whether it's now bad luck or whatever, right? Trouble, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, you could say, right? But does that mean that if I behave good, I deserve good? No, no, no. I don't deserve the good that comes from my breathing. It is simply a consequence of breathing. Goodness, goodness, and moreness that comes from goodness is the default state of the universe. This is a proclamation that I'm making. This is an assertion that I'm making. Yes, this is you could say it's a belief, but man, this is a very proven belief. So for me, it is an assertion of a reality, right? But I'm saying that this is something that you have to go and prove for yourself. You have to basically take my word for it initially. Don't take my word for it and just don't go and prove it yourself. No, but I'm clarifying it from other things which follow logically. This is not necessarily a logical thing, but when you think it through, it is. When you understand that the universe is a marvelous place and is premised on goodness and awareness, this is the default. So all the nonsense we get in our lives is because we're not breathing, in other words. Yes? The equivalent, living being. Living being is being good, being sensible. Duh. Right? Because if it wasn't good, then you wouldn't live. You wouldn't want to live, and life would collapse and implode, right? So it's like a duh there. Right? But it's a very important point because we've been so trained in this culture that we have, which is the consequence of the feudal culture. And the feudal culture is an incredibly distorted culture because it is a culture of manipulation and leverage and abuse. Yes, I'm the feudal lord, and I've got all the peasants working for me, or even goes further back to slavery. But the feudal culture came about because slavery was untenable. It was very expensive to control the slaves. They were dangerous, a threat. Rather get people to be willing slaves. But do I need to have, an overseer standing there with a whip and everything? No, if the people are voluntary slaves, brilliant. Yes. So I develop a psychology and a culture that makes people voluntary slaves. Yes. Which says, well, I deserve to suffer because I'm a sinner, for one thing. Or I'm poor, I deserve to suffer. Oh, I'm a bad person by default, I deserve to suffer. Yeah. I'm lazy by default. I got news for you. Every single individual is lazy by default. Why? Because we want to conserve our energy. Energy is very precious. So we don't want to spend our energy unnecessarily, which is exactly what laziness is, right? It's a very sensible thing, really. Don't go waste your energy, right? But when we want to do something, then we're motivated. Well, see, then you're not actually lazy, right? Now, I mean, you can get a little bit more technical. Laziness is when you know you should do something, you see the sensibility, but you don't want to do it anyway. That's not laziness, that's foolishness. It's a little different, right? So anyway, lazy is a very, very gray area there. A lot of ways to interpret laziness. Nonetheless, my point that I'm making is here that this culture that we have that says, goodness is something that you have to deserve. By implication, the feudal lord, they did something to deserve somewhere along the line to be that's kind of unmentioned there, but it's just assumed. Well, all right, they got born into it, so they deserve it. Huh? Really? The logic doesn't work for them, but of course it works for you. You don't deserve goodness. Why? It's unnamed specifically. Of course, we all have problems. We all have nonsense. We're all unaware. Now, suddenly, because I'm just, start off with little, now I don't deserve moreness? Nonsense. It justifies that system, yes, but it's complete rubbish. Complete and utter rubbish, right? So moreness is the default of the universe, yes. And you don't deserve moreness. It comes automatically as a consequence of living, of being alive. It's the equivalent of breathing, yes. You get moreness into your system as a consequence of breathing, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah, and is this something you have to deserve?
Oh, no.
No. I mean, do we say the worst prisoner, the most horrible multi-mass murderer, Hitler, whatever, you say, oh, you don't deserve to breathe? Well, I think a lot of people will say that. But that's deserving to breathe in itself. You don't deserve to be alive, yes. But we don't say you don't deserve to get oxygen in your blood because you breathe. You know what I mean? It's just idiotic. Yeah. So this is important. It's an important point that I'm mentioning here, right? So
yes.
I want to hold your points, Beena. I just want to reiterate real quickly because I'm bringing up a bunch of new points, and some of them typically there's a logical flow. There's a basis, and then it's if this, then that, and it's like right. But in this case, there is something that's a point that is a point of understanding that you have to go and prove for yourself. And that's why I'm making this point to really emphasize this, because I don't want to just say stuff and, believe me. No, go and prove it for yourself. And the point I'm making is that moreness is the default. If you really think about it, if it wasn't the default, then life would be kind of sucky. Yes. And we would say, well, why do I want to bother with this? Yeah. Okay, I've got to make effort to get on that. It's the default, right? I mean, if in other words, if the consequence of breathing wasn't an automatic good, yes, and I had to earn this getting blood in my thing and really deserve it, I'll forget about it. No, sorry, waste of time, right? So, but the premise is that this, and when we really look carefully, we'll start to see that when people accept moreness as a default, as a it's a consequence of goodness and sensibility. Yeah. Now, goodness and sensibility and sobriety in particular mean that if I need to do something, I do it. Yes, I don't avoid doing things because they're necessary to do, right? And I don't be bad. I don't do things that conflict with my conscience. I don't try and take unnecessary shortcuts that, at the expense of others. I mean, shortcuts are a good thing if you can find them, but not when they're at the expense of others. I'm not abusive of others, etc., right? So all of these things, I don't get my benefits at the harm of others, etc. Right? So this is just basic goodness. It's like stuff, right? There's not much to it. And the consequence of that is moreness. But the reason why people don't have moreness is because they feel they don't deserve it. Yeah? And they have this privilege guilt. And when they get it, they bring lessness into their lives to balance the moreness. Okay, now things are in balance. Terrible system. We've got to change the system. It's not a system of like, you've got to balance, you've got to struggle, and then you get your, now, no. There's no need to struggle. It's not a necessity. It's not a necessity. You can take joy in what you do. Yes. The musician, the artist, the professional athlete, right? Or the engineer, the doctor, the nurse, the ones who are there because this is what they love doing, a farmer. Yeah, you may have farmers that struggle, but most farmers, even though what is struggling to you, they love it because it's farming and they love farming. Yeah, when you say, "Oh my God, that's a lot of work, that's a lot of struggle." Sorry, farmer, I appreciate what you do, but not for me. So you see my point, yes? When you do what is resonant with you, what is right and appropriate for you, it's not struggle. It's still effort, but it's not struggle, right? We don't need to struggle. We just need to find our path, and the universe will help you on this. So I'll help you on this, should you have that intent. Right? Anyway, I'm making the deeper point here, two of them. Inadvertent intents, and also that moreness is a default of goodness, not nonsense, not silliness, not foolishness, not indulgence, right? Goodness and sensibility or sobriety, right? I have to make that very clear. If you want goodness, then just be sensible. Don't be a fool. Don't be an idiot. Don't be a knucklehead, right? Okay? This doesn't take much. Doesn't take much. Doesn't take much. And it doesn't take much to have moreness in your life. Moreness comes in many ways. We are unfortunately so conditioned to thinking of moreness as wealth, but there's plenty other morenesses in life. Yes, plenty, 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 plenty. Yes, wealth is a part of it, or at least, not wealth in the normal way that we think you've got surplus. Hey, you're having a stove and a fridge in your house. Think about it. Remove that stove and the fridge. Two absolute basic things that today, if you go and rent an apartment, they come with the stove and the fridge already in it. There was a time when I first started renting apartments that they did not. You had to bring your own stove and your own fridge. Yeah, believe it or not, yes. And obviously washing machines and dryers, same thing. Air conditioning, same thing. But in modern world, you say, what? You mean you have to bring your own air conditioner? Seriously? What? That sucks. Yeah. And your own fridge and your own stove. Yeah. And your own washing machine and a tumble dryer. Well, this was a great luxury. A lot of people wash their stuff by hand, right? So washing machine is relatively new things as human beings go, right? My point is that these things that we now take for granted is as this is an incredible wealth. Go back 50, 60, 100 years, right? And you making food on a stove, on a fire, yeah? You don't have a stove. You don't have a fridge. It's a great luxury, right? And in many parts in the world where this isn't so. And to have it is way out of the affordability of the people in those circumstances, right? So be aware of the moreness that you already have in your life. You got a phone. This is an incredible moreness, right? And you're but hard pressed to go even. This is fascinating when you look at videos and stuff. You see people in really poor areas where they don't have running water, for instance. They got to go to the well and fetch the water, but they all got cell phones. See, moreness. Cell phone connection to the internet, moreness. The internet, what incredible moreness at your fingertips. Yes. So my point is that we can have access to moreness, especially in this world today, without wealth. There's many, many ways to access moreness, right? It's easier than ever. It's easier than ever. It was always there, but it was a little harder back in the day to access moreness. Now you've got it all at your fingertips, literally. Yes? All right. So now, in order to access this moreness and have this moreness come into your life, pay attention to the contradictory intents. You clear about the moreness that you want, but are you clear about those hidden intents that are blocking it, that are hampering it, that are contradicting it? I doubt it. Very few people are. It takes some work to uncover those. You have to really become a life detective, which is where this concept that's in Way-of-Impeccability, why it's so important, right? Because you have to spend some very real detecting skills to get to this. You have to look at inference, at consequence, at innuendo, at implication, all the stuff, right? And you have to look at it basically in kind of see it from the absence. Like, for instance, this is how they discovered some planets. They couldn't see the planet because there was no light shining on the planet, but they noticed that there was like at certain times of the day when you look through the telescope, you couldn't see certain stars. Oh, why can't I see them? Oh, something's blocking it. Ah, okay, well, see, and then they started, there's a planet there. And then they figured out which stars and they plotted the path and the trajectory and so on, right? So many things you can figure out. You can't see it directly, but you figure it out by implication. Huh? See, very important, very important. And this is one of them, these contradictory intents. Yes, inadvertent intents. It's a very, very, very powerful thing. Yeah. For instance, somebody wasn't, they were really intent on a relationship, yes, and they have strong, powerful intent. And they said, I want this, the person in my relationship, they must be this tall, this color hair, this color eyes, are very specific, right? And they did this a couple of times, and the people would come into their lives. Yes, they would succeed in their intents. It's like, wow, really cool. But then the relationships never went anywhere. They went out a couple of times and the things imploded. So, but how is this possible? I'm getting my dream people coming into my life, but it doesn't work. Why? I said, what was the last relationship you were in? A longer term relationship. And so I said, okay. And they told me about the relationship. I said, how did that end? It was a wonderful relationship, right? But then it didn't end well. I said, and what happened when it ended? Oh man, I was so mad. I just said, I'm never ever going to be in a relationship again. The awareness hit them. They had set the intent to never be in a relationship again. So they could materialize the person to be in a relationship, but the intent was not to be in a relationship. The intent wasn't not to materialize the person. See? So they would get what they wanted, but they couldn't finish because they'd set that intent. No, never going to be in a relationship again. So of course, when they undid that, then the things work, right? So you have to set the counter intent. You have to cancel that old intent to say, no, I want to be in a relationship again. I cancel. I don't have that intent anymore. You have to be very conscious and deliberate about undoing these old intents. Yes. Takes a little doing to get there sometimes, because they'd completely forgotten that they'd said that until I asked them what happened after the relationship ended, or as it ended, right? I had to probe a little bit to get there. Very powerful. Beena, I'm talking a lot here, please. But it's such an important point. I really want to elaborate and make it clear, yes? Beena?
Yes. Okay. Oh, yes. I understand the point of reserving it, because this idea I have seen in my culture also, that when people have okay, when they see someone having sudden abundance in their life, financial and other, they say, oh, uh, there must be something fishy about it, and there's a direct judgment, and that, okay, as Muslims, they have okay, oh, it will not be halal. That is the thing, that oh, that money would not be halal. It is not coming from halal ways, because we have a very particular, Muslims have a very particular way of earning money also, and then of course you have to be very careful about these things. You can't do
So say
these things.
hello
You
to
cannot
Norma
have
quickly.
interest.
I've
You
been
cannot
so on my
do.
topic here. Sorry, Beena, to interrupt you real quick. I just want to say hello to Norma. Hello, Norma. I'm not ignoring you. I just was immersed in my topic. Carry on.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, and then they have a concept, but whenever they see that, okay, if someone is having sudden things, or even not sudden, they have really beyond their expectations kind of thing. They assume that it's the normal conversation. Oh, this cannot be halal. Okay, people are just not caring about these things, and then they just put the religion into that, because they feel that this cannot be this halal, first thing, because we cannot have that abundance, first thing. Second, they themselves feel that they don't deserve this. That's why they need a shelter of okay, oh, because halal money is limited, so that we cannot have that, which is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. But this is the idea they have, and this feeling of okay, I'm doing something. Actually, it's an ego thing. We feel that, okay, we need to be needed in the universe. We need to be productive. We need to do something, so we can say that so we can claim that this is my thing. This is what I have earned. Earning and deserving ideas are very messed up, because what you are actually doing, everything you are doing is for the particular reason, for the target or the goal. You are doing for yourself. So how does universe feel obliged? to do anything for you.
Yeah.
So we assume that by just going to work in the morning and coming back late night and not and making universe obliged to give us something. This is the idea we have. Oh, I have been studying for so many years. Now I deserve this particular job. We feel that universe is obliged because this is something we were giving to universe. We were not giving anything to universe by just doing all those things. No, the idea is all messed up. What universe has to do with all your efforts in this regard?
Universe has become the substitute for the feudal lord.
Exactly.
It's the psychology is the
we
same.
assume that what we are doing, universe must feel obliged for to us something in return because we have been doing this. From where we got this idea?
From the feudal lord.
Okay. So when I'm going, I was in my
you work like crazy and you get a little tiny benefit.
Years, I was daily going to school and I got my degree. now, and I got my certificates and degrees, whatever.
It's not deserved; it's simply consequence.
Something I was doing. We assume that the universe also works exactly the way we assume and work. This is the idea we have. And this is a messed up idea. And we assume and we actually work like this. All our things are intent geared towards to get something in return. It's an ego thing. In return means that we are exchanging something, it's return. And then we have this, especially in American culture, that was a really real shock for me when first time I heard this, that, okay, there is no free lunch. I'm like, for me, sorry, but this was the idea that, it's very cruel.
Is that the consequence of breathing a free lunch? All right, they say, but you're still breathing. Yeah, but it happens automatically. Living happens automatically. Yeah.
This whole idea was like, okay, there is no free lunch, and I was like, wow, from where we get this idea? It's especially because I was thinking that this is just an American culture, but American culture is so influential. It is spreading throughout the world, and via internet also. So people are also getting into this mindset. But it's a service-oriented culture. American culture is a service-oriented culture. People just do things to get something. That's why they say. But is this the only way to live? Is this how universe work for us and with us? No. That's why we actually change the whole reality for ourselves. That's why it is hard and difficult to get what you really want. That's why it is very difficult. We don't do things because I'm enjoying, I'm choosing it. I don't actually choose those things. I have to do because I want this. Not because that this is something I choose. People just talk about the type of follow your passion, and how would you follow your passion if you're not choosing, making choices, deliberate choices every single day, every single moment, and taking complete responsibility of your own choices. If I'm sipping coffee, this is something I enjoy. If I'm limiting my caffeine intake, it is my choice. This is what I'm doing.
But did you deserve that coffee, Beena?
No, this is the problem. And we don't have this idea, this clarity at all. This idea of deserving, this is a very pure egoistic mindset. We all have, almost all. Almost all of us have this idea, but it's very ego-driven thing, which says that, I deserve this because I have been doing a lot for that. I deserve this. Okay, it's my right. when I was okay, it's not a religious thing, so please don't take it in any religious context, but because my studies are limited in this regard, so I can only quote what I have read. So I read in a scripture, it can be, of course, anything, but in my case, it is Quran. And they were saying that, okay, we have created paths on planet Earth for you. And we have created, because the universe, or Allah or God or whatever you want to call, or energy, in our Muslims case, it's pure energy. The energy was saying that, okay, the energy has created that is smooth paths for you. Energy has created these sweet, nourishing fruits for you, and created sun and other things. But my mind was stuck on the pathways, that, okay, oh, we have created pathways for you, so you can walk easily. And then the second sentence was, if I remember it correctly, and we could make it like really like a mud filled things. I don't know what, puddles everywhere. So you had to walk in on all those things. And I was thinking that, yes, this could be the situation or the reality of humans, that the whole planet Earth would be covered with mud, or would be a puddle, a big puddle.
Yeah.
Walk on this. But the second thought was that, oh, but we are human, we cannot live like that. And that was a deserving idea. I assume that I have everything as my right, as I deserve this.
Oh.
Like even this, just as you were saying, the air I'm breathing in, I'm oxygen. Oh, this has to be. Oh, the sun needs to be there because I need sunlight. Oh, the moon has to be there because I need this also. The human species need this, and we deserve this. We take it so for granted. Everything we take it because we assume that we deserve all these things. Actually, not.
No. It's a default goodness, or at least moreness. Moreness is a default. It happens automatically. You're alive, there's moreness. That's it. You get born, you breathe, you get moreness out of breathing. It's a default.
Exactly.
Default. It's a default.
And if
of course, can you unhook from the default? Yes, you can unhook from the default. You can get less by being an incomplete. Absolutely.
Yes. As you were saying that, oh, I deserve this. If we really truly deserve everything, the food we are eating, do we also deserve that? Yeah, our body is going to digest it properly.
Exactly. It's like, come on, man, get out of this whole deserve thing. It's a cultural ideology.
Exactly.
It's a cultural psychology that's been foisted on you in order to manipulate and abuse you and take advantage of you. It's very simple.
Yes.
Right? It's a fantastic way of manipulating you. Oh, you deserve stuff. Oh, that means you have to work for it. Oh. And you end up to be a voluntary slave.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I still use this term. Okay. That's you deserve this. Yeah. It's a well-deserved thing. Because sometimes it's a lack of vocabulary.
I know, but it's going to go out now. It's going to go out of your vocabulary now.
Yes, I need to work on that. But it's a lack of vocabulary. And also sometimes I have seen that, and I've experienced that some people have this idea that whatever they are getting is just something out of out of a miracle, it just happened for them. We assume that if something happened good, like really good happens with someone, after many years they have been working and nothing was working and suddenly they hit a jackpot. I feel that nothing is like a huge thing like a jackpot. What jackpot was actually, that person was just focusing on that thing. I was saying in those words that he has been or she has been working really hard for that and nothing was working. I'm going to change my vocabulary now. They have been focusing on those things and they have been putting effort into, and they were not getting reward. Does it mean that they were not deserving? They were deserving, but the circumstances, or that they might not be in attunement with the universe, but the universe gives them something else. in a completely out of their understanding that, oh, suddenly they got something. This is the way universe works. I can say that, okay, I cannot completely understand ever, because it's a very different way of doing things. That's why it is very crucial, as your point of deserving idea, we need to get rid of this. Because if we are just getting stuck, if we keep sticking to this idea of deserving, we might
Then we
not.
also deserve, yeah. Because now you have to have that balance. Now, I mean, you can stay with it to say, look, all right, I changed my understanding of deserve. That deserve is I'm alive, and the consequence of being alive, or the deserving of alive, is moreness. All right, if that's how you think of deserving, well, fine, it's not a problem. Yeah.
Yes.
But just be careful. Just be careful of it, so that you don't end up in a situation where you feel that you deserve bad luck because you got undeserved good luck. See? No, there's no such thing as deserving good luck. If you're good and you're sensible, good luck is going to come your way. Moreness will come your way. Good luck, moreness, it will come your way. It's the default of the universe. Yes? And just be aware.
Yes.
Just be aware. Right? So that, in other words, what I'm saying is that we need to understand that moreness is a default. It's not something that you have to do anything special to get. The only special thing that you need to do is be alive, which you're doing anyway. Being good. Aren't you doing this anyway? Well, yeah, you're doing the best you can. As far as you know, you're being good. You're never being deliberately bad, so you're being good. It's your default, right? You're being sensible.
Yes.
Okay. And sensibility changes over time, and we can be foolish, but do we mean to be foolish? No. Right? So, of course, this is how you learn. Well, in retrospect, that was kind of foolish. I wasn't thinking, I was unaware, I was oblivious, whatever. Right? Okay, so it didn't work out. I didn't get moreness. Okay, good. The universe is training me. It's telling me if I do these things, I don't get anything out of it, or I get lessness. Oh, okay. So let me go back to the thing. But we have to understand that we are getting moreness all the time, right? And we won't get that moreness if we don't know that we are getting it. You have it, but you're not aware that you have it. And that's quite a tragedy, correct?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So there's this idea of deserving. You've got moreness, it's sitting there, but you're not connecting it, you're not accessing it, huh? Because you think you don't deserve it. So you can't see it, you can't perceive it, because you don't think it's deserved. It's a very deep cultural things, probably in our DNA. So you have to really work at this. You have to consciously say, hey, I got to unhook from this deserve and not deserve and all of this mindset. Yeah. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to make effort. Of course, impeccability is core, right? This is doing what's required, doing what's appropriate, being sensible, being sober, and being ethical, having integrity. All of that stuff is part of Way-of-Impeccability. But those are just does. Impeccability in its root definition is nothing else but the best use of energy. Now look at how people spend energy. For instance, complaining, worrying. How is this a good use of your energy? Yeah? It's a use of your energy. It's not necessarily causing negativity for others, but is it the best use of your energy? Hell no, not even close, right? So why do you do it? Because you don't know any better. Do you need to do it? No, you don't need to do it. Can you change it? Yes, you can. Can you use your energy better? Yes, you can. So do so. Do so. Yeah, do so.
Yes.
This is impeccability. It's about using your energy effectively, efficiently, sensibly, soberly, not wasting it, not being foolish, not being silly. It doesn't mean doing everything right. A lot of people think impeccability, oh, I can't be impeccable. Who can be right all the time? It's nothing to do with being all right all the time. Nothing whatsoever. Now I'm going to go into impeccability that much, except that best use of energy. And to this belief in deserving and all that, not a good use of your energy, right? Understand that moreness is your default. I don't have to do anything special to get it. I just have to not do anything special to not get it. I don't have to do anything special to get moreness other than just being alive, which is goodness. This is like, if I'm alive, I'm going to be good. Well, I'm going to be sensible. I'm going to learn. This is like right? But in order to not get moreness, then I have to do something special. In other words, I have to go and be stupid and foolish and idiotic. Those are deliberate actions. Yes, so when you start living deliberately, you say, okay, let me be impeccable, let me be sensible, and let me access the moreness. That is the default, like the, right? See, we do all these things to disconnect us from moreness, thinking it's like that's the way it works. No, no. This is just foolishness. Sorry, ignorance, sadness, wastefulness, unfortunateness. It's very important to pay attention to this, yes, and not have those inadvertent intents come and sabotage you. Right? That's our theme here today. Clarity of intent and what can affect our clarity, because I may be very clear about what I want, but I'm not clear about the conflicting intents that cancel out what I want. So I have to look at those, right? Inadvertent intent. But to really pay attention to it. And those are typically assimilated intents. You just assimilated it. It didn't specifically necessarily set it up. Now, sometimes, like in the case of the person who said, I don't want to be in relationships anymore, right? Yeah? This was a deliberate point, but they'd forgotten about it. So it becomes an unconscious intent. Yeah? Very important, very important. Pay attention to this. Yeah, I think on that note, a good point to end. Yes, Beena?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's a powerful topic, and I don't want to belabor it too much. Yes. Anything to add on to it, Beena?
No, not yet. So maybe tomorrow we will, or Sunday, we will discuss.
Okay. This is such a magical topic, right? But the key takeaway is that we have to be very careful of this belief system that says, we don't deserve, right? And to pay attention to what we understand is what we deserve. Moreness. You deserve moreness simply because you're alive.
But it's a very complex idea, by the way, to feel that and to understand that, okay, the deserve, what I deserve and what I don't deserve. This whole idea is quite complex. And the complexity is, the topic is huge. It's
because it goes to your self-conception.
Whole life. It's about everything. Right. So that's why it is complex and it is huge.
Exactly. And when we look at way of impeccability as a totality, right? As a toolbox, right? In way of impeccability, one of the profound tools, we've already talked about clarity of intent. Yes. And of course, impeccability itself is a major tool. Right? But now we look a little further and we see, there's another session on self-conception. You need to change your self-conception to say, I don't deserve. You think of yourself as undeserving because I'm a fool, I'm stupid. Part of your goodness is what tells you that you're a fool. Your goodness says you're not sensible, you need to learn. This is part of your goodness. Yeah. Just because you need to learn doesn't make you bad. Right? Don't be aware of this, right? Learn to think effectively and efficiently. Learn to not waste your thinking. Learn to use thinking as a tool. It's a profound, marvelous, wonderful tool. Yeah. So that you can deal with these things. Yeah. Make an effort, figure it out. Don't just accept what it is. Yeah. Don't just be accepting. Very important point, yes?
Yes.
Very important point. So we want to change our self-conception to say, I am a decent, sensible, good human being. And doesn't way of impeccability start with us? It starts with saying, you're not a bad person. You're not broken. You're already good. You simply need to access your goodness, your sensibility, your moreness. It's already there. You just need to access it. You know, to use it, right? Yeah. We are distorted in by culture, not by nature. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a very important point. We don't come out of the box distorted and messed up. We learn to be that way. We learn to be that way. Now, some of us did not subscribe to culture. We just never did. Right? So we didn't learn those things because, well, we looked at culture and we said culture sucks, culture's foolish. Yes, I think all of us did, but it takes a bit of courage, internal courage, to be able to say, sorry, culture, you suck. Yeah. Right? Actually, what it requires is honesty. That's it. If we're honest, and you go back to when you were a child, you looked around and you said, but this doesn't make any sense. That's nonsense. This doesn't make any sense. You're being a hypocrite, etc. That was your honesty, but you learned to not be honest because your honesty got you into trouble. Well, yes, but there's honesty, being honest and being strategic, they can go together. You can be honest and still not get into trouble. You can keep your honesty to yourself. You don't have to go and share your honesty. Nobody said you had to share your honesty. Yes. Leave people be. If they want to be hypocrites, that's their doing. Doesn't mean you have to be one, right? See? Important stuff, important understandings, Very, very important. Anything more to add, Beena, before we go?
No, it's a good point to end this today.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Norma, I don't have my Facebook and stuff. The computer crashed. So if you were there, I didn't see you. Oh, yeah, it starts to come up now. Let me go there and see if you're there. I'm sorry, Norma, if I must see your comments. It's a very deep, important topic, so I got a bit immersed in the topic. I don't mean to ignore you if you were there, or anybody else for that matter, right? I just was immersed. And then also I didn't have access because I'm communicating via the phone, not via the computer. So I don't see the comments. Oh, Janet is here. Once I said we get what we deserve, then I meant all of it, says Janet. Yes, Janet. Lessness can be a way of attracting attention. Yes. Hi, Joseph. I didn't see any comment from Joseph here. Can you see the comments, Beena?
No,
Sorry,
I'm not there.
Don't mean to. Oh, Joseph says, yeah, use energy to heal. Exactly. Our default state is healthy. We learn to be unhealthy. Yeah. In native tradition, we owe our gifts to community, relationship with community. Yes, these are all default morenesses. Yeah. Now, we are not born with it, says Norma, and we are unaware of it until later. Yes. We are told not to focus on ourselves. Yes. And again, see, this is that feudal culture that I'm talking about, which says, don't focus on you, because if you focus on you, you're going to realize the discrepancy between you and me. I've got all the privilege at your expense. Right? Don't focus on you. Yeah. Focus on me. We taught that, right? Yeah, it's fascinating now, this with the energy as a great healer, absolutely. And I like this comment of yours, Norma. Lessness can be a way of attracting attention. What a powerful, powerful comment. Yeah. And Janet, again, to reread your comment. Once I said we get what we deserve, then I meant all of it. Yes, we have to be very careful with what we say, because what we say, we try and make true. Why do we try and make it true? Because we don't want to be liars. So we have to be very, 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 very precisely exquisite about what we say, whether we think we mean it or not. Yeah, doesn't matter. Oh, there's a comment about relationships there from Joseph. I'll read it in a moment, Joseph. That's very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Go back there and see. Joseph says the role of relationships, platonic and romantic, is part of wholeness. Exactly. One criticism of many systems of thought actions is that relationships in the lives of practitioners are often problematic. Yeah, because many of these practitioners, like the psychologists that I talked about, right? I mentioned them many times. When I went to university, I saw they knew about psychology. They were really good lecturers. They understood their subject, but their private lives were a mess. Why? Because, Joseph, this is what I keep emphasizing over and over and over again. Everything that I share, the entire way of impeccability and the new nobility, the moreness, everything, it's always focused on practicality, application, right? And that's why those practitioners, why their things are, because they preach it, they say it, but they don't apply it themselves. They think because they know it intellectually, right? It's on their hard drive, They think this is enough to change their lives. No, it's not. It's flawed thinking. It's profoundly, deeply flawed thinking. Yes. Oh, I know it. I can teach it. I know it. You need to apply it in order to really have it make a difference. That's why practitioners, typically their lives are a mess. Yes. And why I have a program geared towards practitioners, because yes, you've got value, but you need to be able to apply it. Yes, way of impeccability. Mostness, moreness, exactly. Exactly. So this is why I emphasize this practicality so often, Joseph. That without application, it's all meaningless. All of those practitioners, they have the ability to apply it. But do they do it? No, because they're stuck in this belief system that, oh, I just need to have it on my database. I just have to know it. Yeah, there's a little k no and there's capital K no. Yes. You only really know something when you're able to apply it. So all of this, the entire story, the book that we're of, the whole program that we're on here, the Moreness Project, all about application, doing. In other words, practicality. If you cannot do it, if you cannot apply it, there's no practicality and it's pointless. To me, spirituality is intensely practical. If it's not, then you're just blowing smoke there. Sorry. You know, I lived in Sedona area for a long time. Lots of spirituality going on in Sedona. You can find every flavor of spirituality that you could possibly imagine. And boy, you can go anywhere. You just go to the supermarket, start talking to people. Suddenly they'll be talking about all the spiritual stuff. And man, do they have the language down? Oh, they can talk the talk like crazy. But can they walk the walk? Hell no. Their lives are a mess. They're not spiritual in their lives at all. But they can tell you all about spirituality. And you know, what they have to say has value and merit. Not saying what they say is nonsense, no. But they don't apply it, so it means nothing. Yeah? It's meaningless. All their spirituality, totally and utterly meaningless because they can't apply it. Yeah? Practical. I am an intensely practical person. Have to be. Yeah? Make sense? Sorry, Joseph, I maybe you had to leave already and you're not hearing this, but if you see it on the replay, I really want to emphasize this point, right? Nobility is there, and the whole new nobility culture, it's all premised on practicality. Of course, Way of Impeccability is the ultimate, but you don't have to go. The nobility culture is a voluntary bonus thing that you do because you have this predilection in your life. But Way of Impeccability, this is all about practicality. Best use of energy. How is that not practical, right? Yeah. Very, very powerful. All right. Wonderful. I'm glad I saw the comments finally. You know, it took a while to get everything loaded. So I didn't mean to ignore you guys. I just didn't see them, right? Very wonderful. Beena, anything to add before we go? We're trying to go, but we're finally going now.
Yeah.
Nothing to add?
No.
See you on Sunday.
Yes.
For chapter 11. Well, all right. And meeting for all. Bye-bye, everybody.